When did you start finding your own voice for your writing?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I mean, when you start out as a writer, you're very much more influenced by the things that you read.
Right.
And as you continue to read, hopefully in a broader and broader genres and areas and styles, you're always encountering writers who are doing new things, and you're wondering, can I do that too? So, you can see in some of my early works Heinlein influence. You can see me trying to do Ursula K. Le Guin. You can see several efforts of mine to do Jack Vance, who I so admired, to capture their voice, at least see if I can do it. And these are all improving your craft kind of things. You want to learn to, can you use this tool? Can you use this technique? Can you use this voice? At some point in the evolution there, you do develop your own voice. But it's not a conscious thing. It's a evolutionary thing. And after a certain point, in your life and your career as a writer, you stop trying to imitate other people and just start trying to tell a story with all of these techniques that hopefully are now at your disposal.
I think a lot of writers do that today as fan fiction. What do you think about fan fiction?
Well, it depends on how you define fan fiction. I mean, I wrote in the 1950s and 60s what we then called fan fiction, which simply was fiction, stories written by fans and published in fanzines, in amateur magazines. But the stories were wholly original. I wasn't writing about anybody else's characters. I was writing about characters that I created, like Manta Ray and Garazan, the Mechanical Warrior, and the White Raider, my own superheroes of my teenage years. And they might have been influenced by some of the superheroes that were out there, but they were my own. The stories were my own. Everything was my own. And I'm all in favor of that. I mean, fanzines, I don't know what the modern equivalent is. There must be things on the internets, but the old dittoed fanzines and mimeograph fanzines of my youth were a great and important part in my development, not only of me, but of many young writers and comic fans at the time. Today, fan fiction has come to mean something very different. It's come to mean taking the characters from an established franchise like Star Wars or Star Trek or Harry Potter and writing original stories of that. I'm not in favor of that. It's a copyright violation, and I don't think it's particularly good for the franchises to have this kind of derivative fiction out there, and I don't think it's good for the people writing it if they aspire to be writers. I mean, to be a writer, you need certainly to master storytelling and prose, but you also need to master world building and character creation. If you're borrowing all your characters and you're borrowing the world, you're never gonna get those aspects of your craft and be able to arrive at the point where you can create your own worlds and create your own stories.